Okay, guys, so I almost had a heart attack when I saw this article title. Cannibal coronal mass injection will hit Earth at nearly 2 million miles per hour, scientists say. Coronal mass injections are basically when sunspots flare up and shoot out like this. And there was this huge one in the 1800s called the Carrington event that if it happened today, it would literally completely, like, wipe out all internet connections, all power transformers, if they're turned on while it hits, will be completely fried and destroyed, and it could literally deprive the world of, like, internet, of GPS communication, of, like, tons of different shit for, like, an extended period of time and cost billions of dollars. So I really hope that's not what this is. The dazzling northern lights could light up the sky as far as the northern United States after the detection of 17 solar eruptions blasting from a single sunspot, 2 of which are headed straight to Earth. The 2 Earth-directed eruptions have merged into a cannibal coronal mass injection and are barreling toward us at 1,881,263 miles per hour. When it crashes into the Earth's magnetic field on the night of March 30th, the result will be a powerful G3 geomagnetic storm, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Space Weather Prediction Center. G3 storms are classified as strong geomagnetic storms, meaning that the oncoming sunblast could bring the aurora as south as Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Oregon. That's fucking sick. If this isn't dangerous, that's going to be so fucking beautiful. Like, I'm in New York, so my mom lives in Pennsylvania, though, in Philadelphia, so I don't know if I might be able to see this shit where I am. That's fucking crazy. The sunspot, called AR 2975, has been shooting out flares of electrically charged particles from the sun's plasma soup since Monday, March 28th. That's 3 days ago. Sunspots are areas on the sun's surface where powerful magnetic fields created by the flow of electrical charges knot into kinks before suddenly snapping. Yeah, it's like, it's crazy. The resulting release of energy launches bursts of radiation called solar flares, or explosive jets of solar material called coronal mass ejections. Cannibal coronal mass ejections happen when fast-moving solar eruptions overtake earlier eruptions in the same region of space, sweeping up charged particles to form a giant combined wavefront that triggers a powerful geomagnetic storm. The frenzy... I love the colorful language being used here. The frenzy of solar flares meant that at least 2 full halo Earth-striking CMEs emerged from the chaos. The second CME is expected to overtake and cannibalize the first before hitting Earth's magnetic field at around 11 p.m. on March... Oh my god. This already happened. This was an hour ago. Oh my god. CMEs usually take around 15 to 18 hours to reach Earth, according to SWPC. When they do... Okay, so thank god, that means we're safe. Oh my god. Okay, no, that doesn't make any sense. Yesterday my internet, like, randomly went off, like, in our entire house for, like, 5 to 10 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And, like, I thought maybe it would be this, but, like, they say it didn't reach until 11 p.m. yesterday, so that was an hour ago. That wasn't when this was happening. CMEs usually take around 15 to 18 hours to reach Earth, according to the SWPC. When they do, the Earth's magnetic field gets compressed slightly I like the word slightly, by the waves of highly energetic particles, which ripple down magnetic field lines and agitate molecules in the atmosphere, releasing energy in the form of light to create colorful auroras in the night sky. The energy from the storm is expected to be harmlessly absorbed by our magnetic field. Okay, thank God. But large solar storms still have the potential to wreak havoc. But didn't they say this was a large solar storm? G3 storms can cause intermittent satellite navigation and low-frequency radio navigation problems, according to SWPC. That's not good. A recent storm in February sent 40 Starlink satellites tumbling back to Earth, Live Science previously reported. And scientists have warned that an even larger one could have the potential to cripple the internet across the globe. Now, did they really send them tumbling back to Earth? Because those satellites are in the zone where, I forget what it's called, but it's the zone where you're just spinning, or you're orbiting the Earth, right? You're not, like, actually falling down towards it. So, like, my question is, like, basically there's this problem where Elon Musk owns Starlink, and basically Starlink's purpose is to put like tens to hundreds of thousands of small satellites up in the sky so they can do the internet connection. But we have this huge problem now with space junk where it's literally orbiting around the Earth at like ridiculous fucking speeds, like millions of miles per hour, just like zooming through space. You could think of it as like falling, but falling sideways. And they're slowly inching towards Earth, but they won't crash for like a really long time, like years. So like when it says hurtling towards Earth, it's like hurtling the way they were, and they're just defunct because like there's this huge issue where space junk like crashes into each other. They can literally like explode into a million tiny little pieces of metal and shrapnel that are literally flying at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then they could crash into other space objects. And this could basically, if this chain reaction takes place, it could literally disable the internet and disable all satellite and GPS navigation for the entire world, like permanently, and make it so that we can never travel into space again, never go to the moon again, never fucking send rockets up to do exploration and to fucking put telescopes up there. Hang on, I just got a 080 game notification. Okay, so, the energy from... Okay, so, yeah, the last one that happened in February sent Starlink satellites tumbling back to Earth. And an even larger one could have the potential to cripple the internet across the globe. Like this one, or I guess not, because they said it was going to be harmless. But scientists think that the largest ever solar storm witnessed during contemporary history was the 1859 Carrington event. That's what I was talking about, which carried roughly the same energy as 10 billion 1 megaton atomic bombs. That's insane. But it's all in like radio waves and like shit like that, so it wouldn't actually hurt humans, but it basically like that's crazy. 10 billion 1 megaton atomic bombs. That's fucking wild. But it cripples all of the electrical infrastructure and the internet and all that shit and satellites. Everything just goes kaput if it's plugged in. But you can unplug it to like save a lot of the stuff. After slamming into the Earth, the powerful stream of solar particles fried telegram systems all over the world and caused auroras brighter than the light of the full moon to appear as far south as the Caribbean. That's fucking wild, yo. If a similar event happened today, it would cause trillions of dollars in damage and widespread blackouts. And the sun right now, it goes in 10-year cycles of like, whether it's an active period a lot, and by an active period, that means like shooting out giant 10 billion fucking atomic bombs worth of like tendrils of fucking flame out into the fucking solar storm, into the fucking solar system and fucking hitting Earth and like roughing us up a little bit, you know? But yeah, that shit hit today. Like, I only hope that we wouldn't have some like late capitalist disaster of like the companies are like, no, we're not gonna turn our shit off because we need to save power. And then all of the transformers get fried. But I have more faith in our the way the world works now than that, I think. I don't think we would fumble that bad. Like, that's what we're doing with climate change, but you know. So, let's see. After slamming into Earth, the powerful stream of solar particles fried telegram systems all over the world and caused... Oh, yeah, in 1859, telegrams. And caused auroras brighter than the light of the full moon to appear as far south as the Caribbean. That's fucking wild. If a similar event happened today, it would cause trillions of dollars in damage and widespread blackouts, much like the solar storm which caused the 1989 Quebec blackout, according to scientists. But that's just in Quebec. Like, these things can hit, and they can hit the whole fucking Earth. Bruce Willis diagnosed with aphasia. That's interesting. Bruce Willis diagnosed with aphasia, the science behind the disorder. Here's why Willis may be having speech and comprehension difficulties. Actor Bruce Willis, whose one-liners are a mainstay of blockbuster action movies, is stepping away from his career due to a diagnosis of aphasia, a neurological disorder that impacts language and speech, according to news reports. That's really sad. Willis's family said on social media that the actor was having cognitive issues due to his recent diagnosis. The disorder stems from damage to the language part of your brain, typically the left side, according to Johns Hopkins Medicine. I think I have damage to the language part of my brain. Typically the left side, according to Johns Hopkins Medicine. That damage can be a result of a stroke, head injury, brain tumor, some sort of infection, or dementia. You know this guy's hit his head so many fucking times. Like, it's just the kind of head where it's like, why wouldn't you smash that into something? Symptoms which involve difficulty with speech and or comprehension can come on suddenly after a stroke or head trauma or gradually as a result of a brain tumor or progressive degrees. Jeez, poor fucking Bruce Willis. Like, I always, like, think of Bruce as, like, really got his shit together type of guy, you know? And, like, to see him not be able to articulate himself, like, it's just really, it's, like, degrading, you know? It's sad. To Bruce's amazing supporters as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities, his ex-wife and fellow actor Demi Moore said in a statement on Instagram. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. You know what I heard, speaking of Demi Moore? So there was this really big controversy back in the day where Demi Moore, who used to be with Bruce Willis, cheated on him with, like, or was sleeping with, like, a much younger man. And I heard that the G.I. Jane joke that Chris Rock made was actually a joke at Will Smith's expense, because basically he was kind of like low-key calling him a cuck, because Demi Moore was the original G.I. Jane. And he said G.I. Jane, he basically compared Will Smith's wife to, I always forget her fucking name and I feel so fucking terrible. Pinkett Smith. I remember Pinkett, Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, like, basically, like, that was the joke, which is still shitty because it's, like, poking fun at, like, his personal life and shit like that, and that's really not anyone's business, but at the same time, he's a fucking comedian, and where there's a joke, he'll make it, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like, because to me, like, first of all, I don't think he knew she had alopecia. It's genuinely seems like he did not know. And second of all, it's like, if you take that out of the picture, it's like, it's a joke that makes Jada look really good, like, generally speaking, because most women, like, I think culturally, especially in, like, Hollywood and comedy culture, not necessarily comedy culture, but, like, Hollywood culture, Golden Globe type culture, I feel like it's definitely, like, a well kind of established thing that a woman who is willing to rock a shaved head is empowered. There's kind of, like, this mutual understanding that we as a society have about, and I'm talking about, like, people who are more, at least socially, on the left, and people who are actually on the left basically have, like, I would argue on the actual left more so, are willing to kind of understand gender norms and not all acts of breaking down gender norms are considered kosher or considered, you know, like, girl boss vibes in, like, the mainstream liberal kind of community. Like, but a woman with a shaved head, I feel like, is universally recognized in those circles as good for her. She's empowered. She's a girl boss. She's a badass. She doesn't care about, you know, conforming to gender norms. That's kind of like the world that Chris Rock and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith live in is a world where that's kind of, it's kind of like universally accepted that that's generally a good thing, you know? It's not like just by pointing out a shaved head, it's almost assumed that it's a positive kind of acknowledgement, as opposed to you would have to bring it up in some kind of, like, deriding context or whatever to actually, like, get across the point that you're not trying to. Basically, point being, like, on top of that, he compared her to G.I. Jane, who was like, I mean, fuck, like, the military and shit like that, but in Hollywood and shit, like, that's so fucking cool. It's like, oh, like, girl boss, fucking stormtrooper, fucking, like, woman. I don't know why I said stormtrooper, this isn't Star Wars, but it kind of is, you know? It's like Wonder Woman. It's like that's in vogue right now, right? And I think Chris Rock would be coming at his comedy routine in a world where that's the case, you know, like, that's kind of his politics in and of himself. Like, he's not really, I don't know a ton about his comedy, like, nowadays, but, like, I feel like it's not, like, he would be a little bit more, what's the word, like, a little bit more, I don't want to say woke, but, you know, a little bit more socially conscious. So that's where I think he was coming from on that. And But if anything, I feel like a thing he wouldn't be socially conscious about, or wouldn't be as socially conscious about, would be like, you know, a man's wife sleeping with a younger man or whatever. Like, I feel like that would be within bounds for someone like Chris Rock, as opposed to like, haha, woman, no hair, you know, look like man, or like some shit like that. Like, that's more like, I don't know, like right-wing kind of like type humor, you know? So, yeah, but I feel like kind of low-key saying like, oh, like, you're the next G.I. Jane because A, you're an empowered girl boss with a shaved head, but B, like, low-key, you're like kind of getting dick, like younger dick, you know? So like, to me, it's like almost like, to me, like the heart of that joke really was like 100% like a pro-Jada, anti-Will joke. And like, I don't know, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but like the way he laughed at the beginning, it's almost like when he realized the undertones of that joke with Demi Moore and all that shit, which he's got to know. He's a Hollywood star. He knows about Demi Moore and Bruce Willis. Like, I feel like maybe when that hit him, that was what inspired the punch. Like, to me, like, it all makes sense when you put it together like that. But that's my personal theory on it. I'm agnostic. I definitely think Will Smith shouldn't have punched Chris Rock. Like, and I definitely don't think Chris Rock knew about the alopecia. And even if he knew about the alopecia, the joke still works as a pro-Jada joke, because it's like, yeah, he's literally just, like, it's not like there's anything negative about being G.I. Jane, you know? And unless you're coming at it with a preconception that a woman with a shaved head, and pointing out a woman with a shaved head is automatically like some sexist shit, like, unless you're coming at it from that mindset, to me it just looks like kind of a pot shot at Will, and kind of uplifting, you know, it's like the classic like type of humor where it's like, you put one person down and you like make another person look good. And that's like, to me, like, that was the dynamic of the joke. It definitely wasn't like, yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe Chris Rock is like an evil sexist and he knew about the alopecia and he just literally wanted her to make her feel bad at the Golden Globes for it. But like, why would he, like, if he did that and the punch never happened, the article would be about fucking the joke and like whether it was offensive or not. And obviously there wouldn't be as much hype around it, but to me it's like, I feel like it's almost like if Will had never done the slap, then nobody would have even assumed that the joke was made at Jada's expense, you know? I don't know, that's how I feel about it, but it's really like, it's interesting because it's not like relevant. There's like shit going on in Ukraine right now. There's nuclear weapons out there in the world. There's fucking people who can't fucking afford a meal, like myself. Luckily I am rocking with food stamps right now, which is fucking sick, yo. Like, I just get to go to the store and I get to get ice cream and soda pop and like, it's just so tasty. But we went from fucking we went from astrophysics / holy shit, there's a doomsday. Yeah, there's a fucking solar flare coming and we're talking about fucking Jada and Will and fucking Chris Rock. Like, come on. What's going on?